All right, so I'm Chris Hanchett. I'm with EngView Systems. We do packaging and display software. I'm joined by...
I'm Carissa Turway. I'm the application and training supervisor here with Mimaki. And we're happy you're going to join us for our presentation today.
So excellent. So let's go ahead and get started. So one of the things that you're going to be able to see through this process is we're going to take you kind of start to finish, from die lines to basically sizing those, coming up with designs.
And make sure nesting, we don't want to forget about the way that your software nests everything together.
Yep.
So I want to make sure you understand that the EngView software and our newest JFX series flatbed printers go together very well. And now here at the show, we've also introduced the CFX cutting line.
Excellent. All right, so let's just kind of join in here a little bit. And why would you look at parametric? Come on in. Yeah. Why would you look at parametric design software? So one of the things that this gives you, like when you first get your printer, you get your cutter, one of the things that you're going to be able to do is design stuff. And if you have to manually design all these boxes and all these displays, it can take you forever. So EngView has over 2,000 resizable die lines for boxes, displays, inserts, all kinds of stuff. We have full parametric CAD, and what parametric CAD means is that you can resize these quickly with math. You just put in the dimensions, and it comes up with the geometry for you. We got a full 3D presentation module, nesting, layout, bleed optimization. We plug into Adobe Illustrator. You can share your models in the cloud. And we also work on the PC and the Mac. So I know a lot of people like to work on the Mac, and it's one of the things that we're set up. Yep, definitely. And I'm trying to become a Mac person, but it's a slow process for me. All right. So we're going to talk about most of this through the workflow. So let's just jump right in. There's a couple of cool projects here on the floor. Over here on the shelf, you're going to see where Carissa has all our stickers and stuff. She wanted a cool display to be able to put some of this stuff on. So why'd you pick this display?
So I feel like this display is easy to be able to put our branding on. And like you said, display products very easily. Easy to make it, easy to customize it. Maybe we want one for Christmas theme. Maybe we want some that's for summer theme. I figure because how easy it is to do that, this software is amazing. And make sure everybody, if you have your phone out, you scan these QR codes. And Chris can also give you a demonstration of this software. But I think the 3D version of this software really sets it apart when you're trying to design. That way you know if it's upside down. Things that have to fold together, sometimes it's hard for an artist to understand how that works.
Yep.
And so this software helps with that.
So one of the things that you'll see is the picture on the right is the picture of the physical item we made. The item on the left, that's a 3D visualization out of the software. So it's really hard to kind of tell the difference. So before you ever produce one item, before you cut anything out, what you want is a lot of confidence that your customer is going to like it, that it's going to look like what it's supposed to, and that's what this software allows you to do. And then he just scanned the thing there. He'll actually be able to see once it loads up, full 3D animation of how it comes together, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, so if you want to snap a shot there real quick, you can see it. It's an easy way to share, and then you can text that, you can do whatever and share it with your customers.
More importantly, it's also really good in the proofing process. You'll be able to share this with your customer so that they can proof the artwork, make sure it's in the right place, and that really helps so that they don't have to come or you don't have to physically print it to get that proof signed off on.
It's going to save you time, it's going to save you money. I think we all want to do that. All right, so let's just kind of see how this got started. So the first thing you do is you start browsing through this library, and it's all broken up into different sections, so it'll show. And so here you can see, what the raw kind of corrugated box looks like, or in this case, a display. And you can see, hey, these are the die lines I'm going to get. And so then we bring it into the software, and you'll notice there's some numbers here. So it shows you, this is the length, here's the width, the height, this kind of stuff. And so as you start to adjust those numbers, it's changing the die lines on the fly for you. You're not having to do this with CAD or anything else. It's parametric CAD, so it's doing it for you rapidly. So once you get everything kind of sized up the way you want, you can take this die line. Oh, I got one other step. You might want to change the material thickness. So, you know, this could come in as E flute, but let's say you wanted to change it to B flute. Well, if you change it to B flute, it's going to change every little gap, every little fold, all that. If you don't have parametric CAD, you're going to have to manually size all those items. It's a pain. It's not any fun. But this is going to do it perfect for you every time. So then you'll see we jump into, once we've got our die line, we've got a plug-in inside of Adobe Illustrator, and you can see the full 3D in the corner there. So as you start to design, this basically shows you here's the without the graphics. And as we pop in here, now when Carissa laid the graphics on this, you can see real time how it's going to look, where the logos are going to fit, all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. But you'll also notice on the die lines over there that the graphics are laid over. There's no bleed offsets done, all that. Well, with one more click of a mouse, all the bleed offsets are done for you. You know,
yeah, I want to. This is really important, especially when you're doing your layouts. We're gonna let in EngView, you can tell it what size of the material that you're gonna use, and it will nest it together on the material size that you need. So you'll notice that we told it that it was E flute and it was 48 by 96. And then all you have to do is go to this layout, tell it how much bleed you want from your artwork, and it will automatically mask everything out for you, which is outstanding, and put it on the 4x8 layout and nest it together so that you're not wasting material, or making sure you get all of the pieces on one print instead of 2 or 3.
And it takes away a lot of that tedious, unfulfilling work. You know, so you want to use your art skills, you want to do a cool design, but you don't want to spend a lot of time doing non-productive work. Let us do that work for you. All right, so that was the first project. We're going to kind of jump in and dig into this next project a little bit more. So same thing on the left, these are the 3D images out of the software, and on the right, those are the actual pictures of the item. Pretty darn close, once again. So, you know, if you're working with a beverage manufacturer, you're working with somebody, you can see real quick like how this stuff's going to come together. And Carissa has some samples here that she can kind of pass around and show.
And we'll be printing some of this tomorrow, but I also want to point out that the software is going to let you know what lines, and what lines are creasing lines and what lines are cutting lines. That way it's very easy to set up for your cutting or the output as well.
Yep. So as you're going through the library here, so now we're in a different library. We're in this product integrated cartons library. And you'll notice, just like what she was saying, everything in red is going to be cut out. Everything in green is going to be creased. We've already made all those decisions for you. If you don't like those decisions, you can actually change them. But by default, these are proven designs that have been created. And so you'll see here, there's over 1,500 of just these packages. We ended up taking this 3-bottle one and we turned it into a 2-bottle one just with a few clicks. Now, one of the things I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read this entire slide.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Yeah, no, I'm not. But what's important about this slide, if you look up these terms, there's international standards on packaging, and they keep growing. And as those grow, we add them. Then there's a whole series of EngView designs that have come directly from customer feedback, and those keep growing. So every time the software is updated, every time there's a new release, you get more and more of these die lines as part of your software, which is really cool.
The coolest part is that you can actually customize it. Maybe you want that display to only fit within this area. Maybe you need it to go underneath shelving. You can tell it exactly how high you want it to be, and it'll change everything automatically. It's nice.
And so here you can kind of dig in a little bit more. This kind of tells us we've got a couple different types of material. So the wrapper you'll see was made out of folding carton, but the box was made out of E-flute corrugated. But notice even the views. You can come in and look at a wireframe view. You can look at transparent views. So as you're trying to kind of troubleshoot this box and get it exactly the way you want, once again, I don't want to cut anything that isn't right. So I want to do all the work up front, make sure it's right before I waste any material. And so this is going to help you do that. So now we jump in, and if you look here, we've got this image that needs to be what we call replicated from one of these flaps to the other, and we want it to be perfect when it closes. Now, if you're an artist and you're doing that manually, that could be very difficult. Okay, you want to add in on that?
the reason why it can be difficult because sometimes you don't know where it's going to cut, and you want it to cut in the exact same space so that you can do something when it actually comes together, it's correct.
Yep.
That feature is amazing to help do that.
So what you do is you start and you design the logo the way you want and you put it on one flap. Okay, and so after you do that, then you highlight the flap and you basically grab that whole image and then you replicate it. So it automatically makes a copy. Now let's say you come in and you change the size of the box slightly or something like that. There's a little tool that says update replication. It recenters it, it fixes it all for you. You don't have to redraw it, which is really cool.
And you can do that all in Illustrator just by a few clicks. It's just outstanding.
Yep, as long as you've got the EngView plugin, you can do it. So now if we go to the next step here, Carissa also wanted a clear coat layer on here so we can turn on and off multiple layers. So when we replicated that, we replicated the clear coat. And why would I want the clear coat on here?
Well, because you want your color and your clear to be in the same position in both of your layout. So notice, like you said, the outside of it was using paper, what I called the wrapper, and then the inside of it was the outside box. And so you'll see in the layout, I had two different ones. So I was using a 28 by 40 piece of paper, the C1S, and then I was using eFlute 48 by 96 for the boxes. And I was able to use that same one for my color and my clear to set up my print files, right? My print files that are perfectly lined up. So that when we print that color and clear together, they line up perfectly.
It comes out cool. So as we move along here, one of the things that we wanted to show also is she had a bottle she found, bought, and we wanted to represent that real time in the model. So we went into Adobe Max and we just drew up a bottle real quick, put the label on it, the same label she printed to put on the bottle. And that way, when we designed this package, we knew the bottle would fit the wrapper perfect. Then we knew the wrapper would fit the box perfect. Because once again, we know the math of everything. You can see exactly the measurements and stuff of how they came out. And then we have an animation sequence. So if you scan this one that was earlier, I could always go back to it. Anyway, it'll show you this thing assembling on the fly, just like it. And so you're once again, you're going to see exactly what you're going to get.
Well, and it's a little, yeah, this is perfect right here.
Okay.
So this will kind of tell you how many is going to fit on your sheet of paper. And it'll allow you to put in a little space, extra space if you want to. Also your registration marks for finishing out, it allows you to do that. When I first started learning the software, all of this was a little bit, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an artist, how can it looked intimidating to me. But it was very easy. It's very easy because it does all the math for you. It changes everything for you. It nests it up for you properly. It's outstanding.
And the other thing that's important is we've been generating a lot of how-to videos. So if you go to our YouTube channel and you want to do something like this, we've got quick tips and tricks videos. We literally have 30-minute training videos, 17-minute training videos, all these stuff up there. And then how I create my next videos are all based on your questions. So if anybody asks me a common question too many times, I'm more than happy to answer it, but I figure I should probably create a video. So, it's so what's like she was saying too, it'll remember your defaults here and you can set all these standards. And what you might do is say, oh, if I had too much waste here or something, I may want to try a slightly bigger sheet or a slightly smaller sheet to maybe optimize my waste, and so that's something you can do. And if you look in here too, notice all the bleed offsets we're doing for you. Now, on this, it may not be as critical, but as you get to more complex boxes, it's definitely going to do that. Same thing that she was talking about earlier, you're going to set your bleed offset, you're going to go ahead and run through this process. So that was the wrapper. See, here are the nest of the boxes. This was nested up on a 48 by 96 inch sheet. You've got your registration marks for your cameras and stuff to come up. And once again, all the green lines are going to crease, all the red lines are going to cut. And so now we can talk about the next part of the work.
Right, so once it sets up your nesting for you, you're ready to send over, save it out for printing, and go, which I love. So you'll see that it just went right into Raster Link, and we were able to set resolution to it and print. And it makes it very easy to do. So I do want to talk about the JFX600-2531. It is one of our newest machines, so we have several series of these now. So we've got the JFX600-2513 and the JFX600-2531. These are the package machines. So this machine, the newest machine we have, remember that it can do the toggle printing, meaning you'll be able to load one side of it while the other side is printing. And I love that feature about this machine. Here's the 2531, which is a 4x8 model. Both of those models have 16 staggered print heads on them. And so now we have the new 8x10 CFX to go along with the 8x10 JFX printing. So I want to make sure you guys understand that this new cutting table that we have come out, it's got 4 interchangeable cutting heads, a camera for vision registration, and vacuum systems to hold down that fluted material that can be hard to work with.
Yeah, and what we've been seeing here at the show is, the machine cuts fast, it's accurate, and having the multiple heads, reduces that tool changeover time.
I really like the way that it can actually crease from the back. It's really easy to be able to read those registration marks and flip over the media and crease from the back, which we have to do with a lot of, applications, especially the applications that use the V-cut option.
So when we got here at the show, they wanted a little podium, so we pulled it up in the software real quick. Size it to the size we want, Chris do some graphics on it, print it out, and we cut it. We can do things that quick. And if you look here, both these images here are not pictures. These are actually images right out of the software. If you go over and look at the stand, the good news is it looks just like the images.
That's right. This stand we made, within an hour? We designed it, we got it, we made it, we V-cut it, and it's over there by the CFX table if you'd like to see it.
And the only reason it took an hour is we had a lot of interruptions.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So thank you everybody today for joining us.